Good morning, everybody. I'm Professor Cousineau, Allison Cousineau, and I'm the program coordinator of the Personal Support Worker program at Niagara College. I'm just going to give you a little breakdown about the programs and which ones you could apply to and how does it look when you come into Niagara College. I am one of the main professors that will be teaching you for the classes that you attend at the college. Just taking me a minute to click. There we go. So there's two deliveries that you can apply to. There's a 1 year, and that program is at the Niagara College campus. So all of your classes will be delivered at the Niagara College Welland campus. There's another delivery that's called the alternative delivery. And we have a contract with Tabor Manor, and all of your classes and your clinical placements are held on site at the long-term care facility at Tabor Manor. It's kind of a live-in classroom that you interact with the vulnerable population while you're in the class. Pre-COVID, the vulnerable population came into your classrooms and you got to learn your assessments directly on the clients, and you got to interview them and work throughout your 8 months of school right at a long-term care facility. There's 3 intakes we are looking at currently. So fall 2021, winter 2022, and then spring 2022. It is a 1-year certificate, so you're looking at 2 terms. So it's approximately 8 months in the classroom. So there's a couple highlights that have been brought forth on the slide in front of you. So it's about 42 hours of hands-on experience in our lab. So we have a wonderful lab at Niagara College. The lab does have mannequins. These mannequins breathe, they talk to you, you can do their vitals. We work directly with the mannequins to learn transfers, learn bed baths, learn how to do vitals correctly in our assessments. But also in the lab, we have wonderful suits that the students get all suited up to make you look like you have a stroke. So we limit all of your extremities, and your peers have to transfer you or your peers have to feed you. So you really get into that mind frame of how does our vulnerable population feel, and how do they feel when someone's taking care of them 24/7 and they're lost their independence and autonomy. You're in the clinical placements for about 266 hours. That is directly outside in the community. So we have many partners in our community that we work with, long-term care facilities, but also community settings. So the community settings, vulnerable population might be living independently. They have more flexibility of the care we're providing them. So you get to learn both of the settings. Within our program, we have embedded multiple certifications to enhance your resume when you start applying for jobs. So the 4 main certifications are Managing Food Safety Certification. Managing Food Safety Certification teaches you how to cook, teaches you how to make safe food for your client, but also teaches you what do you need to provide to your client to be healthy. And that will help you if you ever go into the community setting, but it'll also help you get a job as a food attendee at a long-term care facility when you're still a student. The second is Gentle Persuasion Approach, and Angela, the Associate Dean, is here. Angela, did you want to just break down GPA a little bit right now? Because I know you're one that teaches it.
Oh, sure, no problem. Sorry I'm late. I just got off the international panel, but nice to see everybody here. So Gentle Persuasive Approach is a certification that we've added into our curriculum that equips students with the means to work with patients with dementia. It's utilized across the country. It's an approach that was started by the Advanced Gerontological Education folks in Hamilton, Ontario, but has been adopted across the country, and many employers are looking for it when they are hiring PSWs or nurses. And up until COVID, it was something that we delivered in person, and there were 3 theoretical modules followed by a 4th module that had to do with how to use gentle physical responses should they become necessary. Now in our COVID world, we've switched over to GPA's online delivery, but it is a really great opportunity, provides people with the confidence to interact with patients with dementia, which when you don't have the knowledge on how to do it can seem very scary, but once you start to identify with that person as the person they are with their own history and needs and loves and just past experience, then you can provide much, much better patient care. So it's something philosophically I really believe in, and I think it's a wonderful add to our program. And I see Allison nodding her head.
Yes. I've been trained in it for years. It's helped me immensely at work.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. And then we have the feed certificate where you learn how to feed an individual that's dysphagia, so inability to swallow, swallowing problems. Both of our feed certificates, we've collaborated with the culinary program. So you actually get to go to the culinary program for approximately 3 to 4 classes. And the chefs there teach you how to cook, and they teach you how to do a black box. So what's in our client's fridge, and what can we make for them that's healthy? So that's a really neat collaboration we have with the culinary. We just implement a palliative life and death matter certificate. So after your 2nd term end of life course, you get a palliative certificate that just states you have end of life education, you've gone through the books and workbooks, and you have a certification to put onto your resume. So the next slide will show just how your terms look. So this is what your term will look like. So the first one, supportive care, that is within the lab that I talked about, the state-of-the-art lab that we have. You have communication with the communication department, and then you start getting into your PSW courses. The one very interesting course that all our allied health programs go through is the interprofessional education and practice. And you get to be in a classroom. You also get to be in small groups with other individuals from other programs. So if that's pharmacy, if that's paramedic, if that's the nurses. So you get to learn about all of the other programs and what their discipline does once they graduate and once you start working as a healthcare provider. 2nd term looks a little different. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. 2nd term looks a little different. It's split up to 7 weeks and 7 weeks. So the first 7 weeks, you have 3 classes, which are Health 1168, mental health. So you're going through all the mental health illnesses and disorders. 1304, which is another anatomy class. You're going into more in depth of what the illnesses and diseases and chronic and acute illnesses are. Then 1310, which is that end of life course. For those 7 weeks, you're out for 1 day a week in the clinical long-term care setting. After those 7 weeks are successfully completed, you go into consolidation. You're working full-time at a clinical setting. You have an individual that works at that clinical setting, and you're paired up with them as they're the preceptor for you. So you're working full-time out there, getting really into the workplace. The great thing about this is approximately 95% of our students get hired after this consolidation at the place that they've had consolidation at. And like we all know, PSWs, we need them out there. So majority of our students are getting hired right off the bat. A lot of our students are getting job offers even before they go into term 2 to help out there. So some program outcomes I have here. You're doing supportive care. So PSW is supportive care. You're out there working with our vulnerable population. everywhere: hospitals, long-term care facilities, private retirement homes. A lot of PSWs go into private homes and you work with that client. Every single one is a different pace. Assessing clients with medication. So we don't provide medication to the client. You do learn about medication, but you just remind the client to take their medication. And we go through that and we go through your scope of practice more in the program. Many career opportunities. And you guys can see these on any job site out there. Seniors, I've already said this, hospice palliative care. I know that our wonderful placement coordinators seek out wonderful opportunities for you guys, and hospice palliative care services is one of them that's on our consolidation list. Group homes. Also homes, there's a home in Niagara-on-the-Lake, and the name is, I can't.
Red Roof Retreat.
Pardon, Angela?
Red Roof Retreat.
Red Roof Retreat, our PSWs go to, and it's working directly with children and adolescents who have maybe are autistic, maybe have MS, and you're there working with the children there. So their parents could have a bit of respite, so they could have some time off. They have wonderful camps there. On that note, I am going to hand it over to Allison. She is a student that has gone through the PSW program, and then she also went through our wonderful bridge program into the practical nursing program. So she's going to put a little more into it to demonstrate what paths you guys can go through with this program. So I'll hand it off to Allison.
Thank you, Allison. So I started way back in 2010. I was only 23 at the time. I was at a loss for what I wanted to do with my life. I knew I wanted to help people, but I wasn't sure what pathway I could take. That's when I went to an open house with Niagara College, kind of like this one, just in person. And I was directed toward the personal support worker program. Now, with this, I wasn't sure about all of it that it entailed. I heard, a few things that we just look after them. I wasn't quite sure of the difference that you can make as a PSW. From the day I was accepted into the program until the first moment I walked into the classroom, my emotions ranged from anxiety and fear to excitement and hope for my future. I knew I made the right decision after only my first week of classes. My professors were approachable. Actually, Angela was my professor 10 years ago. She gave me the courage to grow, and I knew I wouldn't be alone on my journey into post-secondary education. I graduated from the PSW program in 2010, and since then I have worked at 2 long-term care facilities, one consistently for 11 years, which is Tabor Manor, and I've also worked at Haida Hof, and I was hired directly out of consolidation. They asked me within 2 weeks of my placement, you better stay here, and that seems to be a consistent thing with my peers. Now with Niagara College students in the field, since I've been around for a while, I see a stark contrast in the capabilities and skills that come out of Niagara College graduates, as opposed to some other programs. The knowledge base, the approach to care, when comparing with other schools is just vastly different. Niagara College rises above the rest as it relates to providing a basic understanding of human anatomy, but they also provide extensive hands-on clinical experience through the utilization of clinical supervisors who happen to be the very registered staff we're going to work next to in the field. And it's also unique in the sense that they prepare you to get your boots on the ground right away. You're ready to work when you come out of school because we do have so many clinical hours. Now, college isn't easy, but what I found, Niagara College offers so many resources for students, whether it's guidance counselors, peer supports, class representatives, peer tutors, academic tutors, financial advisors. There's so much help with Niagara College to help you through your journey. One thing I can say, when applying for a job, employers see the Niagara College difference. I've been someone who's been responsible for orientating new hires and teaching students out of new grads, and I really see a difference with the Niagara College students. The expectations put on PSWs sometimes can be overwhelming. There is time constraints with our job, but I feel like Niagara College students are better prepared when it comes to that fast-paced environment, those time management skills. They really focus on that in the program. Now, I loved it so much, I returned 10 years later, now 34, soon to be 35, and I'm finished the bridge program. I'm so blessed to have had that opportunity to fast track into the practical nursing program and complete my journey from PSW to hopefully RPN soon. Now, it does eliminate a large portion of that first semester, which yes, saves time and money, but it also prepared me for the intense workload of the RPN program, if that's something people look to in the future. So overall, Niagara College has not only given me an amazing career, incredible friends, former peers, it's given me a second chance at expanding my education. I'm forever grateful to Niagara College, its staff, its peer supports for allowing me to be the best version of myself. And even during these tumultuous times of COVID, I'm still getting a fulsome learning experience that will prepare me for the steps ahead. Through extremely careful planning, we are still able to attend lab classes on site, go out into the clinical setting while completing all of our theory classes. This way, we don't miss out on the hands-on practicum, which sets Niagara College aside from the rest. There are so many reasons to become a student at Niagara College, but what keeps me here is the absolute dedication of the faculty into making me the best student, current PSW, and future nurse that I can be. Thank you for having me be a part of this today.
Thank you, Allison. That was wonderful.
Being emotional.
It's okay, we're gonna cry.
So Allison just expressed how Niagara College did change. She went from PSW. She got that hard understanding of how it is out there in the real world, hands-on experience. And now she's going to become a wonderful practical nurse because she came back to the bridge program.
Yes.
So hopefully we answered everybody's questions. And if you guys have any questions, let us know, ask anything. We're here to answer. So just a reminder, the reminders are up on the slideshow right now that the deadline to accept your offer is May 1st. And there's a lot of drop-in sessions today. Please utilize them. They have great information and great people working there to answer all your questions.
Well, if we don't have any questions, I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to Allison and Allison, both of you for the presentation. This was an excellent example, an excellent description of what our students do. And although we have been doing a great deal of learning online, our students in the PSW program have gotten amazing hands-on opportunities because of the dedication of our staff in problem solving and ensuring that we can get our students into these hands-on applied learning opportunities with our community partners. And that's so critical to healthcare. And I just have to say what a dedicated team of healthcare professionals we have at the college. And Allison, as a former student and now returning student, I think you said it best. When it's not just about taking a program at Niagara College, it's not just about one program. You learn so much more by interacting with other healthcare programs at our college. And then the opportunity to come back and continue your learning in the healthcare profession as you mature and grow in your career. I think that's what I think you spoke beautifully to the opportunities and some of the things, opportunities to grow and learn, and then come back and further your career in the future. Yeah. So thank you for your time and for coming and speaking to our students today.
It's been an honor. Thank you so much. So there's a question there about financial support. As a former student, I was able to apply for OSAP with the PSW program to assist with the cost of tuition and books. And there are new programs available to students. I'm not specific about the COVID related ones, but there definitely is OSAP available for Niagara College potential students.
And I see another question actually in the chat box there. So can international students apply?
Yes, international students can apply for the personal support worker program. We have a lot of international students within our classes and in our intakes.
I'm actually the international student advisor for the program, and I'm here to support any international students, whether you need assistance with academics, immigration, or transitioning into Canada. Please feel free to reach out.
And all your professors work very closely with Anna, the international department, and your other academic advisor, Jody Thomas. So we have a great relationship to help you in the PSW program.
International students, I wanted to touch on the interprofessional course that we take. I find a lot of our international students have a background of healthcare back home, and coming here, they're such an incredible resource to us students. So having that interprofessional program, having the ability to draw on all of the different skills and cultures and experiences is a really good opportunity as well. I've stayed friends with a lot of the international students from 11 years ago, and still to this day, it's awesome to bring these cultures together and to brainstorm their healthcare system with ours. It's a really cool opportunity.
That's wonderful. So there is a question, can IEN get financial assistance and assistance with immigration grad programs? I don't know if Jody or Anna.
I can say that more as an Anna question, I think.
What does IEN stand for?
I didn't know, that's why I was passing it up to you.
Can you explain what IEN stands for, please?
See how quickly I dropped the buck there? I'm like, here, man, I call you. International Educated Nurses. Oh, okay.
Okay, wonderful.
So can they get financial assistance? Anna, I don't think they can they?
No. So for
Yeah.
international students, they don't get financial assistance. When you apply at immigration, one of the questions that the immigration officer does ask you is, how can you support yourself? And you have to provide documentation on proof that you can support yourself while you're in Canada. So that is why the financial assistance isn't there, because you have to provide that proof initially to immigration to show that you do have financial support once you get here. Now, if you're taking the program and something perhaps may happen that you do need financial assistance, you can work with the international student accounts to work on a plan, a financial plan.
But you would help them with immigration, that part of the question you'd be able to help them with, right, Anna?
We help them with immigration. Initially, their first study permit, they would apply to the Canadian consulate or embassy in their home country for that part to get into Canada. If they needed any assistance with, let's say, extending a study permit, getting your co-op permit, because this is a program that requires a co-op permit, we can assist you with that. Your international student advisor can assist you with that. So you'd fill out the application and we would just go over to make sure that you've answered your questions correctly and filled in all the necessary boxes to apply, and to provide you with supporting documentation as well. And in the end, once you complete the program, you are eligible to apply for a postgraduate work permit, and your international student advisors also can help you with that process as well.
Could you talk about the mobility between provinces? Can you work in Alberta and BC?
So we do have students that go to Alberta and BC. I don't know the breakdown of going. Jody, do you?
I think with PSW being unregulated, it's pretty easy to go back and forth. So it's not the same issues that you'd have as if you were a nurse and had to go into the different levels. So you should be able to work as a PSW because it's unregulated.
Yeah, I think the only thing you have to show is some of the employers want you to show the classes you went through and how many hours you've had working. But I'm not sure the breakdown of it. I know that many of our PSW students do go to a different province.
But stay here, we need you.
I was going to say, at this time, if you take the PSW program, you're guaranteed a job. You're getting hired before you even finish the program. So
it's a lot different than when I started, definitely.
That's right, for sure.
Yes.
So don't go anywhere right now.
Please don't.
Could you talk about the compensation in public provincial institutions versus privately owned? Allison?
Which one?
Please no. Allison, please no.
Sure.
Can you ask more specific
I
compensation?
think they're looking for pay.
The
Like the
pay.
pay. It's what I'm assuming they're asking.
Yeah, it's not straight across on the board. I don't really have any questions of answers, specific answers, I guess, to say. Niagara Region does pay more than privately owned homes, but I'm not specific with pay. I know the government is fighting to increase PSW's wages. I know that the wages have increased due to COVID. I'm not sure how long those wages will continue to be. I do believe it's $2 to $3 an hour more right now due to COVID. I'm not specific with private homes, but I do know that the Niagara region does pay significantly more than majority of our private homes around the Niagara region.
Did the Ontario government mandate pay increase apply to private institutions?
I believe it was across the board.
Yeah.
Yes.
But regardless of where you work, just to throw in, I've worked for lower wages, I've worked for higher wages. I find with the PSW career as a whole, it doesn't really make that difference. A lot of people aren't getting into this job for the money, even though you can earn a good wage. You're leaving every day knowing that you've done something to make a difference in people's lives. And I think to me, that's invaluable. So that couple of dollars difference, whether you're in a private home or a regional home, doesn't make a difference in the end. It's your happiness that matters. And I think that graduates will find that as well. Their fit matters more than the wage that they take home.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, Allison, that you want to be working with a team that aligns with your own philosophy of what it is to provide really good care to people who are vulnerable. And if you're working for somebody who is going through the motions, kind of very, what's the term? When you're working in a car factory and just kind of going that treadmill type, just because you're getting paid $1 more, that's your quality of life and the quality of life of the people who are receiving your care doesn't make the difference. You are going to be working with somebody who fits and you fit with how they want to see care delivered. It's really important. So don't forget that when you go to an interview, that you're interviewing them just the same way they are interviewing you.
And just to enhance that, Allison, the student, you have to love what you do or you're going to burn out quickly.
100%.
I think she really emphasized that when she was talking, that you really do have to love what you're doing.
And it's not hard to find a good fit. There's a lot of amazing homes in Niagara and facilities. So it's not hard to find a good fit here.
Yeah. Chad, it is quite different than being a chef. So 20 years as a chef, graduated from Niagara College. That's amazing, Chad. It is different. I know that the culinary department, it is a challenging career too, and it's a challenging program. There's lots of hours. There's the anatomy and physiology we go through that you might think it's a challenge. It is a big change going from being a chef to being a personal support worker. How many years have you been out of biology? Because that's probably the one area a lot of students struggle with is the biology and physiology. But we have so many resources to help you through it. And we're always here to help guide and peer tutoring for our students.
We also have those drop-in sessions in the library that are always amazing too. So for students that need some extra support with the biology or the writing skills or anything that they need help with there.
Yeah.
And
Just
you
let
know
it
that Help
transferable.
1137 is going to be super easy because you'll be able to support all of your peers with the black box creation.
Yeah.
There are a lot of transferable skills though with time management and customer service and attention to details. So I think that I came from a call center background. I was a supervisor in a call center, never worked with human bodies before. And it was a difficult transition, but it worked out well.
Yeah, you've mastered being a student already, so you know how to do that successfully. So you just need to transfer it over to learning the knowledge that we're going to teach you in the PSW program.
And I do have to say that we all work as a team here and that we're here to help you be successful. So we will find something to help you out there. We will guide you to help you through everything.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, boy.
There is a registry starting for PSWs. They actually came to Niagara College to do a presentation, but it's not the same yet as RPNs or RNs.
yeah, it's not. Oh, sorry, Angela. They won't be regulated. There might be a register, but it's two different definitions, I guess. Angela, go for it.
Regulation has been something that's been a dream of mine for the PSWs ever since I started working in the college sector and learning about the education. We made, I think, an important step back in 2014 when the ministry agreed that PSWs needed to have a similar education so that all of the private colleges and the district school boards were required to meet the same standard that the community colleges were meeting. I still think, no offense, but I still think we do that better than they do, but we are all working to the same standard. So that's a step in the right direction. Regulation for any profession is a very long, protracted process. So for instance, paramedics have been seeking regulation for as long as the PSWs have, probably longer. They've existed longer as a profession. I think things like COVID and the spotlight it's shown on long-term care, for instance, and how we provide care may certainly add to some of the political arguments around regulation for PSWs. So we'll see where that goes. But in the government's defense, they have to really carefully balance the idea of regulating PSWs against what that will do to the number of health human resources out there. Because as soon as you regulate something, you decrease the number of people who are eligible for that profession. And obviously that's an advantage because you increase the quality of care. But if you don't have enough people providing that care, it doesn't matter how high quality that is, somebody is going to lose out on care. So right now the government would need to do a very, very careful analysis of what is the cost benefit to regulating and decreasing the number of care providers versus increasing the quality of care each of those providers gives. So it's a complex question to ask. I hope we get there someday, but it's not going to happen easily.
There's one more question.
I see.
Yes.
Jay, when you get into the PSW program, we do have a huge lecture on burnout and self-care and what those main triggers are for burnout. So that's a whole entire lecture you will go through once you're in the program.
And it is manageable. Self-care, reflective practice.
Well, thank you everybody for attending the PSW open house group. And if you have any questions, Tasha said there were so many resources out there for you guys. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Thank you guys so much.
Well,
Take
thank
care.
you.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.